What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here, back again with another video. This is a little series that I kind of want to get into a little bit. It's about basically the borderline Hall of Famers who are out there. This is a conversation that normally comes up around the time where, in the summertime where they start announcing who made the Hall of Fame, who didn't make it. And, this is a conversation normally comes up around the time where the preseason gets started, because the Hall of Fame game is normally the first preseason game on the NFL schedule. So you have all of these morning shows, even some on the NFL Network, where they'll get into, who made the Hall of Fame and who should make it, guys who didn't make it, who should have made it, so on and so forth. So I kind of want to get into it. I think the debate about this is very interesting. And you can make cases for a lot of guys who are not in right now. But basically I just want to go over, some guys who are going to come up for Hall of Fame. They'll come up pretty soon. First, I want to start off with Phillip Rivers, being a Charger fan. Being a Charger fan and watching him for a while, I always thought, okay, this guy is for sure going to be a Hall of Famer. And, just watching, his progression, from when he first came into the league, how he was able to get better pretty much every single season. And, I was one who was saying, yeah, this guy's going to make the Hall of Fame for sure. But, upon further review, I'm not too sure about that. So I kind of wanted to get into it, touch on it a little bit. So Phillip Rivers, he finished his career 134 wins and 106 losses. Now, that's not too bad. It's not otherworldly. It's not Tom Brady in the Tom Brady stratosphere, but it's not too bad either. When you consider, you look at a guy like Eli Manning. I think Eli Manning has a losing record. I think he has a losing record overall, or he's either right there at the 50% mark. I don't know. He's another guy that I want to do a video on as well too. But so Phillip Rivers, it's not bad. He had 5,277 completions, right? That puts him up there as well too. Now those numbers are not going to be looked at. They're not going to be looked at with a lot of admiration. Especially the modern NFL. It's pass happy now, so the completion percentage and the complete number of completions in the guy's career, those are going to elevate naturally, across the board, for all guys. So I don't think that is really going to, set him apart from anybody else. So 65% completion percentage for his career. I just talked about that. 63,440 yards. Now that is, it was top 5 all time. I'll have to check and see. But I know when he retired, I think he was top 5. I'm pretty sure it was top 5. But that will, again, the pass happy NFL that we're in, that's going to get eclipsed. And he'll end up probably being within the next, 5 to 6 years. Will he be in the top 5? No, he'll probably be top 10. Maybe 7 or 8 or whatever. You look at a guy like Matt Ryan's got a lot of yards. Stafford's up there in yards. Who else? There's a couple other guys who are going to get up there in yards as well too. So again, that's not going to be looked at very, with too much admiration as far as Hall of Fame consideration goes. 421 touchdowns. That's pretty good. That's really good. If there's anything there, I think that probably is the strongest case for Hall of Fame consideration. 421 touchdowns. That's pretty damn good. Even in the pass happy league and stuff, like, there are a lot of guys who don't throw touchdowns. There are guys who, they're good quarterbacks, but they're constantly in the 25, 30 touchdowns. Like 421 touchdowns is pretty good over a 17-year career. So that's pretty good. But going right back down, 209 interceptions. So 421 touchdowns, 209 interceptions. That's almost a 2-to-1 ratio. For every 2 touchdowns he throws, he's throwing a pick. So, and this is not, we've seen Brett Favre throw a bunch of picks. We've seen him, do a lot of dumb stuff. As far as his decision making in the pocket, the some of the throws that he would make, some of the chances that he would take. I don't think Phillip Rivers was that bad, but one of the strongest cases against him is of the 209 interceptions, how many of those were game-ending interceptions? And to just be completely unbiased, I'm a Charger fan, but to be completely unbiased, a lot of those 209 interceptions came at the most unopportune times, right? These were game-losing interceptions. These were interceptions on the last drive. These were interceptions in, the red zone, whatever, like really, really bad, ill-timed interceptions. And I think that is really what, if you're a Hall of Fame voter, you're really looking at it and you're going back through his career. You're watching tape from, big games or whatever. You see a lot of these really, really bad decisions, really bad interceptions. They're taking place at critical times in games. So, as far as Hall of Fame goes, I don't think that the voters are going to look at that. They're not going to look at that as a thing where it's just like, oh, he threw the ball a lot, so he threw a lot of interceptions. They're going to consider when the interceptions happened, because all interceptions are not created equally, So for me, I think that's probably one of the strongest cases against Phillip Rivers. 95.2 quarterback rating through his whole career, which is pretty good. That's above average. And an 8-time Pro Bowler. So when you look at the regular season numbers, there's a case for him to be in the Hall of Fame. And when you look at the whole total, his total career and what he did, he is considered by many to be the best quarterback in San Diego / LA Chargers history. I don't know. I just, it's hard for me to say that he is over Dan Fouts. Dan Fouts was pretty much the guy to get the whole passing revolution started, right? The Eric Coryell offense and all that stuff. He was pretty much the guy who, the stats that he put up in the old NFL when everything was run, and the game was much more physical. The receivers getting hit, the quarterbacks getting hit. Dan Fouts was really the pioneer for the modern pass happy league that we see now. So he is the pioneer for that. So I can't put Phillip Rivers above Dan Fouts as a Charger fan. But he holds pretty much all the passing records for the Chargers, for the franchise. So I think that's an argument for him getting into the Hall of Fame. But I think where it comes down to, and again, I'm a Charger fan, but I am unbiased. I'm an unbiased sports fan altogether. I have my teams, but I can easily say, okay, my team sucks or my team is great or whatever. I'm not one of these delusional fans who thinks that everything that my team does is great. I'm not one of those people. So, but this part right here, if it was, and for me, I want Phillip Rivers to get in. I think there should be more Chargers in the Hall of Fame, right? I want him to get in, but unbiased DB is saying this will probably keep him out of the Hall of Fame. This is his playoff record. So Phillip Rivers was 5-7 in the playoffs, right? 5 wins, 7 losses. People more or less understand what the playoffs are. The playoffs slow down. It's a harder game, whatever. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. It's not great. It doesn't bode well for Phillip getting into the Hall of Fame. But 60% completion percentage, right? So your completion percentage drops from the regular season to the playoffs, and 16 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So I think that pretty much seals it there. I don't think Phillip Rivers will get into the Hall of Fame. If I had a vote, obviously I would vote him in. But just looking at this from an unbiased perspective, I don't think that he gets in. I think the playoff numbers really seal his fate as far as him not getting in. And you have to think about, who he is going up against as well too in that class. So the 2004 class of quarterbacks, right? Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and Big Ben. Big Ben is a lot to get in. 2 Super Bowl titles, a bunch of franchise records for the Steelers. The Steelers are one of the NFL Blue Bloods. So if you win there and you put up records there, then you're pretty much going to get in, right? Eli Manning, he was never a top 10 quarterback in the league. He was always average, like just the definition of average, and I think his win-loss record bears that out. But I will have the accurate information when I do the video on Eli Manning. But Eli Manning he will get into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, based off of 2 throws that he's made in Super Bowls to beat Tom Brady and the Patriots. Like, he's made 2 fantastic throws, and those 2 throws that's going to define his career forever. All the regular season stuff doesn't really matter when it comes to him, because those 2 throws really, Tom Brady should have 9 Super Bowls right now, and he was the guy who took those away from Tom Brady. He kept Tom Brady from winning Super Bowl. So in that sense, I think he will get in. So Phillip Rivers has to go up against those 2 guys. Those two guys are getting in. And when it comes time to look at Phillip Rivers stuff, like all these numbers that I went down right now are going to be what, this is going to be his best representation and his best presentation to get into the Hall of Fame, juxtaposed against Big Ben and Eli Manning. So this is just not good enough going up against those 2 guys to get in. Now, if those guys didn't win any Super Bowls, and if you're talking about numbers, then I think Phillip Rivers has a better case. But as of right now, I just don't think that his case is strong enough to get into the Hall of Fame. It's unfortunate. Like I said, I think that he should be in, but just going up against those guys, with 2 Super Bowls each, it just doesn't look. It doesn't appear that Phillip Rivers will get in. If he does get in, I don't think that he will be first ballot. I think that is pretty obvious. But like I said, the playoff numbers really, really seal it. And when you look at the teams that the Chargers had, the teams that he played on, Phillip Rivers played with other Hall of Famers. So, that's another mark against him, Antonio Gates is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. LT was a first ballot Hall of Famer. There was good offensive lines that he played, with, and he played with some pretty good defenses as well, too. So all of the makings for, a Hall of Fame career were there. All of the makings for winning were there, but, obviously the Chargers just didn't get it done. And it wasn't just Phillip Rivers' fault. It was a collective team thing, but at the end of the day, I just think that the numbers do not bear Phillip Rivers being in the Hall of Fame, at least on the first ballot. Like I said, he might get in. He may get in. He's got a good reputation, as far as a person, and we've seen in the past few years that does make a difference. You see with T.O. should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. People didn't like him, so it took him like 2 or 3 years to get in. Phillip Rivers has a good reputation. He's a guy, he doesn't cuss and all that stuff, but he was fiery and he was entertaining and stuff, so people like him. He had a good rapport with reporters and all that stuff. He's a good guy. So maybe that is, the thing that pushes him in. Possibly, it's not impossible, but just as far as the numbers go, I think he's lacking in that sense, compared to other guys from his era. I just don't think that he really measures up well. So that's why I personally think he will not be able to get into the Hall of Fame. I hope that he does, but I just don't. Objectively speaking, I just don't think that he can. When he's measured up against his counterparts from his draft. But, it is what it is. He still had a really, really good career. He is still revered by some of the Charger fans, by a lot of Charger fans actually. So, he made a lot of money. So, I don't know if getting into the Hall of Fame is his goal or not. He's not really, he's not even really around. So I personally, I don't think that he really cares very much. But You know, I just don't think that he, you know, I just don't think he'll be able to get in, you know, just compared to the other two guys in his class. But you know, like I said, he still had a good career, and you know, he's still a legend to all of us Charger fans. So, but that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. Don't forget to like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna do more of these. Eli Manning is the guy I'm probably gonna do next. Let me know though. Hit the comment section. Let me know if you think Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer or not, and why you think that. And also, if there's any other like fringe Hall of Fame guys, put them in the comments too. You know, this is interesting debate. You know, I like going over the numbers and looking at a guy's whole career, looking at his you know, career picture, and determining whether or not he'll get into the Hall of Fame, just based off of the other guys that we've seen get in. So. You know, it's going to be a very, very interesting series, very fun. You know, I love doing stuff like this. So hit the comment section. Let me know if there's anybody else. But that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. Thank you for the support. I'll catch you guys later. And until next time.